Nothing is predestined. The obstacles of your past can become the gateways that lead to new beginnings. With these words in mind, let us start this new year with an educative session. I extend my warm welcome to the speaker and all our guests and attendees. Let us use this time for some networking. All of us who are new here, let's please introduce ourselves. I'll start with me. I'm Pratibha Rimal. I'm from Nepal and I'm doing my MBA in second year. So, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here for the Startup Saturdays gathering. I will take you through the events proceedings. First, a few ground rules. Um, let's have an introduction of the newcomers, please. So, continuing, uh, as I was saying, first, a few ground rules that all of us must follow for effective meeting. Number one, please put your phones in silent mode. Number two, scan the QR code to mark your attendance at our meeting today. It will assist us in reminding you of our upcoming activities. Number three, avoid stepping in and out during a session. Please wait until a speaker has finished his or her session. Number four, avoid bringing refreshments inside the auditorium. Number five, please do not crosstalk during the meeting. Number six, that's a very important point to remember. Time allotted to startup pitching is 10 minutes. And for Q&A session, 5 more minutes will be added. So please be mindful of the time. And the last one, audience members are requested to wait for the Q&A session to ask their questions. Um, the ones who just entered, please, could you please introduce yourselves? Thank you. Nice to have you all. So, continuing with the meeting. Oh, yes. Sir, please introduce yourself. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Now to the meeting. I want to express my gratitude to these Startup Saturdays organizers and partners for planning this event for the benefit of young entrepreneurs. The main goal of Startup Saturday is to motivate, inspire, and assist founders with insightful comments and helpful advice. Investment support from investors is heartily welcome. This meeting will not only guide us all, but also educate us on a wide range of topics. So let's begin our session with our first startup pitch of the day by Jura Drones. Established in 2017, Jura Drones is a pioneer in the field of drone service in Andhra Pradesh. They provide clients with game-changing data acquired by using the latest drone technology with services that include land surveying, 3D mapping, inspections, and progressive photography. Over to the founder of Jura Drones, Mr. Sagar Koteshwar.
Hello. This one is not working. That's for YouTube. Good afternoon, all. My name is Sagar Koteshwar. So, good afternoon, all. My name is Sagar Koteshwar. I'm founder of Joradon Consultants. Uh, Joradon Consults. Initially, back in 2016, I started drones as a hobby, and in 2017, we started. Can you hear me? No. So in 2016, I started drones as a hobby, and then in 2017 April, we started Jora Drone Consultants. Initially, we used to provide aerial photography and videography in weddings and events and short films and movies and all. Later, we changed our field into automation, drone automation. Now we are providing services in land surveying, 3D mapping, and inspections. So here you can see the traditional methods of land surveying. You can see total stations. Uh, does anybody know total station and land surveying? Okay. So traditionally they do use total stations and DGPS. So there are some limitations for these technologies. So if you see total stations, you do get accuracy in it, but the thing is, it is very limited, and you can do up to 10 acres or 20 acres land, but you cannot do more than that with total stations. You can do, but it takes a lot of time and manpower for that to done. And for DGPS also there are certain limitations. You can do for boundary survey, it is very good DGPS, but when you want to create a contours or topography, and if you want to make a boundary lines and all, not boundary lines, topography and all, it takes a lot of time to get the work done. So there are limitations with these two technologies. And now you can see wherever you see, I mean, Swamitwa, there is a scheme in central government has started that all the 6 lakh plus villages have been, they're doing as of now, they're surveying with the drones so that they can provide a digital certificate, digital land owning certificate to the residents of that particular villages. So you can see that technological transformation in land surveying. So there are certain limitations while doing the survey. One is terrain, hill terrain affects the survey efficiency, and forest density and weather. All these factors affects these traditional methods. Next, if you here you can use drones. If you see the drone, how you can see that. I mean, if you want to measure if you want to do a survey for 100 acres, with drone you can do it in 1 day. So if you want to do it with a total station or a DGPS, it takes 1 day for boundary. You can do it 1 day, but if you want to contour or topography, it takes 5 to 7 days at least. And if you want to do the same with 1,000 acres, it takes nearly 20 to 30 days for getting the work done. You can do the same work with drone in couple of days. Okay, can you understand what I'm saying, right? So you can able to one more while using drones, there are certain things that we have to keep in mind. One is we use ground control points to control the data how it comes, and we use checkpoints to check the accuracy of data. Sometimes it may vary. I mean, in general people do relative accuracy, but we always try to provide our clients with a absolute accuracy. Next slide. These are the outputs that comes. I mean, so you can get the DGPS. With DGPS you can get the boundaries and contours. So contours also depends upon the points that you have taken. You can get the data, but you cannot get the data like orthomosaic data. You cannot get a digital surface model or a terrain model. For that matter, if you want to use a point cloud, 3D point cloud, you cannot get all this data by using traditional methods. You can get this data with drones. And if you see, you can say that the maps that you are saying, okay, well, they are good, but you can use Google Earth maps, right? Google Earth is there, so you can use Google Earth maps. You can visualize data how it looks. But that the maps that we are creating are 50 or 60 times better than Google Earth maps. The ground sampling distance with the Google Earth is very limited. I mean, you can get a 1 meter or 2 meter accuracy, but drones we can get 1 inch or 2 inch accuracy. So the ground sampling distance is you can get as much as 1 inch or less than 1 inch also. So that is very good when you are using in surveying and other things. Then you can use the same data for you can use the same data for other purposes also. If you have done survey once, if you have done 100 acres of land survey now, and if you want to use a particular part, you have to do with traditional methods. If you want to calculate other something or some 10 acres, if you want to measure, you have to do the survey again. But if you have done drone surveying, so you can extract the same data within the data set, so you can work on it. So the accuracy will be the same for the extracted data. And you can see all these things you can do with faster and safer and efficient way. So here you can see the data that you come out of. Normally, if they have done with DGPS, you can see the right side how the data looks. In a white paper, you can see some drawings and all. Only the professionals can able to understand. The remaining people like us, we cannot understand what is going on over there. So if you see the left side data, it looks like a Google Earth map, but I can guarantee you that it is 50 times better than the Google Earth map, and that is how it looks. And if you zoom in, you can able to see what is there in it. And now when it comes to 3D mapping, 3D mapping is similar to 2D mapping and land surveying, but we do get a, I mean, other dimensions. If you want to measure a distance, you measure in meters, right? How far it is, you can measure in meters. If you want to measure an area, you need 2 dimensions. In the same way, if you want to measure some area, volumetrics, you need 3 dimensions. So we measure in cubic meters. So left side, if you can see, there is sand. You can able to measure how much volume is there in it. And in the similar way, if you see the right side, there is a hole in it. So they have dug that location. So you can able to measure how much volume you need to fill that land. So that's how it can work. We are currently working with mining industries. We started that recently, and it can be used in cut and fill works, and architectures also can able to use that 3D mapping services. And the accuracy that is produced by 3D maps is you can get 98% accuracy if you have done it correctly. Next step. So the third one is inspections. You can do inspections with drones. So we are doing that. So depend upon that tower structures, we can use different kind of cameras and all. So you can do inspections in telecom sector, windmills, solar power plant. You can do inspections. You can do in industrial inspections and structural inspections also you can do. So if there is any If there is any tower, if it is in a concrete one, you can use it with RGB cameras. You can get the visual data. You can able to see whether there are any cracks. If there is any maintenance required, you can do that. So if it is in a like metal one, like a steel or something like that, if you want to see the temperature variations, you can use thermal cameras. So you cannot see it with naked eye, but you can able to see it with thermal one, so that you can able to understand where the problem is. If there is an insulation required, you can use that thermal camera to find out. Next one, please. So this is the team that we are having as of now, me, myself, and there is one system engineer and one technical expert. We have as of now a couple of pilots who are working with us as of now. We are working with AutoCAD and GIS experts. They are there, but the thing is, they are not permanent employees. They are a professional ones, so we cannot hire as of now. We are looking for AutoCAD and GIS. I mean, if there are any, please let us know. We are looking for them, and we need drone pilots too. So when it comes to market size, you can see the market size in the world is it's near to 32 billion dollars for surveying and mapping services. In India, it is $2 billion. If it comes to Andhra, you can see it at 15 million. It is growing as of now. This one is data of 2021. So business plan that we are the plan that we are doing is, see, in the in land surveying or 3D mapping, there are 5 steps in it completely. Initially, you have to do the pre-planning, then data capturing, and after data capturing, you have to process that. You need photogrammetry skills to get the work done. In photogrammetry also, you need certain softwares. They are very expensive ones, and you need a hardware for that too. The ones that we are using, 128 GB RAM, i9 processors and all. So you need a lot of big rig, at the same time softwares you need to have for doing the photogrammetry services. And GIS also, you need experts in GIS so that you can extract the information that has come from the drone data. And the final is delivering the final reports. These are 5 steps. So in these 5 steps, what we are planning. So initially, we thought we want to provide entire services in entire India. We want to provide, but the thing is, we cannot do that with limited manpower. We cannot completely do done that. So the business plan that we are coming with up is we want to train people. I mean, okay. So the thing is, see, here in Vizag itself, there are 1,000+ drones. The people, those who are using it is like people like in photography or hobbies. People, they do have drones. So whom we are aiming is the people who have drones and who has drone pilot license. We want to train them in the first 2 steps. How to do the land survey or mapping services. We can teach them because we have an experience. We can teach them how accurately they can able to do it. The thing is, they can, after learning, so they can do by themselves. They can get the work done, or they can associate with Jora so that uh, they can use the services that we are offering. The third, fourth, and fifth, that's where our expertise lies. So what we are thinking is we want to provide our in-house services to them so that we can have a network of people who can work for us. They can work for themselves also. That's the business plan that we are thinking of as of now. Next. So competition, there is a competition. There are people who are working on it. Maruti Drones is there. You might have heard recently they got type certificate for their drone, and Red Bay UAV, Garuda Analytics, Drone Acharya. You might have heard recently they have been to IPO. Recently they've gone into, and there are 70+ drone service providing companies as of now in India. It's a recent data. So so what we have other than that is we have expertise in technology, photogrammetry technology. We have expertise in it, and we have a global network for problem solving. If there is any problem, if something is happening, if I cannot do it, I can get help from global network so that I can able to do it. And absolute accuracy, as I said, we can provide absolute accuracy data. And projects that we have done more than 5,000 acres of land surveyed. We have done bridge inspections, more than 30 bridge inspections and road inspections with NHAI, and 100 other projects with state government and central government as well. Associations, we are associated with Indian Flying Labs. It's a community, it's an NGO. They do provide drone training to rural people and all. So we are associated with them. We are associated with the AU, Andhra University GA Engineering Department. We are providing skill development courses to them. Recently, we started one. And the next one is STPI. It's an open challenge program. Recently, we applied for that, and we are in the final list. So on Monday, we have a pitch over there. So hopefully, we're working on it. Yeah, these are the clients that we have worked with. So you can see. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thanks. Thanks. Thank you. Keep, keep the slide. Does anybody have any question? What's the our future plan or the works that we have done? So financials are, I mean, I can say, I mean, currently this year we are at 8 lakh. They are very less. But the projects that we do is big projects. I mean, I can say that if we have a good project, recently we have one with Hindustan Shipyard Limited. So we are working with them. So it's a 300 acres. So the project itself is more than 6 lakhs. We can work, but the thing is materializing the work. I mean, it's bit difficult as of now. I mean, letting them know that new technology and working with them is bit difficult. Educating people is what we need as of now. We are working on it. We are working with the AUG engineering department head Wazir sir. We are working with him. So probably in future we may conduct workshops for people like executive engineers in the department. So we are planning. So future, yeah, there is a lot of scope for that. We are trying to. See, yeah, recently we. Acha. No, sir. So if you want to create a new road, recently we worked with Bobili Urban Development Authority. The vice chairman of Bobili Urban Development, he approached us that there is one hill where they are constructing a collected bungalow and all. They want to create a road for that. With DGPS, they can't able. They tried for 1 week, they couldn't able to do that survey. So yeah, we provided the solution within a day. So he was very happy, and after that we made a road for them. So how to get into that particular point? We made the road. We don't have expertise, but we get that done by professionals. So we can do that. What's that? So visibility, whatever is visible, we can able to show. In depth, we cannot show it anything. I mean, no, sir. No, no. We don't have the technology. Probably it is there. We don't have as of now. Acha, okay. No, probably they might have separate sensors to detect that. But as of whatever we are providing is a visible data, so that you can able to see latitude, longitude, and elevation in a particular point. So that you can use if you want to create a tunnel, you can do it. If you want to create a roads, you can do it. If you want to do a pipeline with using gravity, you can do that. So all these services we can provide for exclusively for engineering consulting companies and architectural. They can use. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, yes. We it's been 3 months. We have given our invoice and still the payment yet no not yet. But we got work order this time. Previously we used to work with word of mouth. Now we are working with the work orders and all. So hopefully we are going to get it. Yes. So we are working with IM Visakhapattnam. Yeah, we are working. Recently we spoke to IIP. So they have construction of nearly 200 acres of land is there. They are constructing. So we are helping with them. Uh, at the same time, we are working with NCC. You might have Nagarjuna construction companies. They are doing near to 4 or 5 medical colleges here in Andhra Pradesh. They started one in Paderu, one is in Anakapalli, one is in Vijayanagaram. So we started working with them, and there are other players too. And we are working with Indian Railways also for railways. We are working as a, I mean, we are providing them like visual data, like if they want to conduct a inspection, if they want to layer roads, we are providing drone. I mean, with telemetry data, we are providing that. Yes, they are, but the limitation is very less. I mean, the main infrastructure work is, yeah, the scope is very less. There is there. I mean, the work is there, but one more thing is we have to, I mean, increase our marketing team, and that is what one thing. Yes, 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 yes. We can show that. I mean, if they see, it's very expensive. One thing, it is very expensive for the government to get it done because the government has to do. No one will do. If they have money for consulting us, they can do the roads itself, right? They don't invest the time. But the technology that you are talking about, we can do that. Yeah, we can do it. Acha, just a minute. The map that I have. So this is the data that I have shown you, right? So you can zoom in and you can see the accuracy of the data, right? So this one is you can digitize all the data that is there in it so that you can able to see for future references also. Huh? Yes. So see here you can see the road, right? In the same way you can able to see the damage pictures. This one has we have taken. Also he wanted. So can you zoom in over there? This one is a normal picture. In general, the pictures that we created TIFF files. Those are in GBs like 2 GB, 3 GB. You cannot view them, so you can able to see it, right? Something is there. But this one has taken in 200 feet from height. So if you want to take them, so you can do it in 100 meters or less than that, 100 feet or less than that. So that you can able to see a better visual of that. You can able to measure how far it has damaged, and we can do that in the beach. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. Sure. So we can talk one on one. Thank you so much. ఎవరన్నా దగ్గర థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Now I'd like to welcome our speaker today, Mr. Vithal Kumar Pingali, who has very experience in the of Secretary is an assistant member of the Statutory Council and a law graduate from the University. The right member of the Sector in Training and Development, qualified to be independent director by the Indian Institute of Social.
Hello, am I audible? Okay, so good evening. And I think most of anything is it okay? Want me to try this? Okay, so this thing fell off. Is it okay? So actually, it's a small hall. I think I can just talk and you can hear also. Oh, hi. Okay, okay, okay. So you must have attended and heard presentations regarding the technological aspect of the business, the operations part, how to do the operations, what are the difficulties, how to do the marketing, how to do the publicity, etc. so far. So today I just wanted to give a different perspective from the eyes of a company secretary. I am a company secretary qualified and I am also a law graduate from the Bombay University. So I keep doing, I consult corporate clients. So I'm on the advisory consulting side where I deal with a lot of corporate clients and I keep advising them on the legal and compliance aspects as well as a lot of things that when you sit down to talk with a client, it's not just what is there on the table. There are so many other things that keep coming up and we keep talking with them. And there is a 360 degrees angle to this. What we are seeing here most of the time, I attended one session last time, and I attended a few other presentations regarding startups in other forums also. What we get to see is mostly a 180 degrees angle where we deal with the technological, maybe some part of the marketing, publicity, how to take my business ahead, that sort of thing, right? But there is one more angle to this that happens behind the scenes, most of which the entrepreneurs may or may not be aware of unless they're closely associated with the auditing, accounts, finance, and the compliance legal team, which happens in rarely in very large organizations. The smaller and medium entrepreneurs, the smaller and medium enterprises, what I saw is they are generally not aware of certain things, though they may be aware. I think one of you is having a private limited company over here. Mr. Srinivas is having his own private limited and LLP, and I see some people from Acrivia also over here. So some people may be aware, some people may not be aware, but there are so many things that need to be touched on. If you're going to start a business, then you need to be aware of certain things. Before we get into the business of business, we need to be aware of certain things. So that is what I'm trying to touch upon today. Please help me with the, yeah. So yeah, whenever we talk about startups, we all know that the government is giving some incentives and benefits in so many areas to startups. When you want to get registered for a startup, you have to go to the startup portal. And one of the main eligibility conditions for getting registered as a startup is you should be a private limited company, or you should be an LLP, or you should be a partnership firm. Partnership firm, from the banking point of view, it is less preferred because most of the bankers nowadays, if you go for a loan, they are saying you go and get registered either as a private limited or second preference as an LLP. This is what is going on. So then, if so many people are saying go and get registered as a private limited or an LLP, then we need to understand what it is that they're looking for in a private limited or an LLP. So I just try to list out the startup eligibility conditions. Most of you may be aware of that. It says that it should not be exceeding 10 years from the date of incorporation. It should be a company, a partnership firm, or an LLP. Should have an annual turnover not exceeding 100 crores. It should be an original entity, which means that it should not be a merger of two entities, or it should not be a split of an existing entity. And it should be innovative and scalable. I think most of you know that. So what is a company or an LLP? One thing that is the major difference between a partnership firm and a company or an LLP is that a partnership firm in India, formed under the Indian Partnership Act, is having unlimited liability, which means that every partner of the partnership firm will be jointly and severally liable for all the loans taken by the firm. Which means that if the firm takes, there are two partners in a firm, and the partnership firm takes a loan of 1 crore, each of the partners is personally liable to pay 1 crore. It is not that one of them, it is 50-50 kada. No, it's not like that. Okay, please let me know if any of you doesn't know Telugu. Any of you doesn't know Telugu? Okay, only one. Okay, okay. In between, there may be a little bit of jump here and there to Telugu, just to make myself and all of you comfortable. The limited liability concept that comes up in a company or LLP says that supposing you invested say 1 lakh rupees in a private limited company or an LLP, the extent of your liability, that is the amount which you have to pay up in case of closure of the company, will be limited to the amount which you have invested. అంటే నేను ఒక ₹1,00,000 పెడితే క్యాపిటల్లో నా liability ₹1,00,000 ఉంటుంది. Whatever happens, that is called as limited liability, which is the major advantage of the corporate firm, right? Then you can transfer your shares. In a partnership firm, it is difficult to transfer the shares because you have to dissolve the existing partnership firm, create a new partnership firm, blah blah blah. But in a private limited or in an LLP, it is relatively easier to transfer from one person to another. You can have separate property and separate management. So there are so many advantages in a private limited or an LLP. మామూలుగా ఒక పాన్ బీడీ షాప్ లేకపోతే ఒక సోల్ ప్రొపరైటరీ కన్సర్న్ ఆర్ partnership firm, we find that the owners and the managers are the same. But in a private limited company or an LLP, it so happens that the management is separated from the ownership. So the owner will be putting the money and he will be having control over the company, but the actual business of management will be done by some experienced people who will be appointed as the directors or the managing partners of the company, and they will be taking care of the management, and if something goes wrong, who is responsible? The management will be responsible. The people who put in the money, the owners, will not be responsible. So there is a separation of ownership and management concept, which is very useful for smaller and medium enterprise business people. So this is why mostly bankers as well as the government also prefers private limited and LLP form of business organizations. We could go much deeper into this. I could take you into each of this point in detail, but we have time constraints. What is my time exactly? Is it 20 minutes? Okay. Yeah. And the last point is perpetual existence and termination of existence. So supposing there is a sole proprietary concern and a pan BD shop is there. When the person dies, his business ends, right? But in case of a private limited company or an LLP, there it will be created through law. It is an entity that is brought into existence through law, through an act, and it can be also terminated only through an act. So if you want to dissolve a company, if you want to dissolve an LLP, then you have to approach the right legal authority and then get it dissolved. It's not so. What happens if the two partners in an LLP die? Will the LLP also die? No. What will happen if all the shareholders in a company die? Will the company also close? No. What happens if all the directors in a company die? Sorry, I'm using the word die again and again to make a point, but the point is that whatever happens, the company will not dissolve unless it is done through a due process of law. So the company is basically protected. So if you're putting your money in the shares of a company and something happens to the persons who are running the company, nothing will happen to your money. Your money is protected. The point is, the company or LLP can be closed only through a due process of law and not because something happens to somebody, right? Uh, am I audible and comfortable? Is everyone getting what I'm saying? Anything anyone wants me to say in Telugu or some other language, please tell me. I'm okay with Tamil also. Fine, there are different types of companies. This is just by way of general knowledge. I don't know how it is in Nepal, but in India it is. You have companies classified by way of liability. You have limited liability, unlimited liability. Like partnership firm la unlimited liability anukunnam kada indaku. So you also have companies which have unlimited liability. You have companies which are one-person company. Now in India it is also allowed to have a one-person company. Earlier it was not there. You have private companies and public companies. Private company where it is a closely held by a few people, and public limited company where you can have unlimited number of shareholders. You also have listed and unlisted companies, where a listed company is the shares are listed on a stock exchange. Unlisted companies where it is not listed, right? Just so that you get to know what you're getting into. Company start చేసినప్పుడు చిన్న private limited లాగా start చేస్తాం. Once you start up the company as a small company, you're growing. Then when you're growing in a private limited company, the total number of shareholders is limited. You can only have so many shareholders, and so many shareholders can bring in only so much money. Now I want 100 crores, say. Then the amount of people I know, or it's not enough. Then I need to go public. I come out with a public issue. Once you come out with a public issue, you need to get your shares listed on a stock exchange. Once you get listed on a stock exchange, there are so many other rules like stock exchange listing agreement, SEBI guidelines, etc., 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 which will be coming up. Which the owner needs to know. If you're starting a business, if you want to go big, you should know that these are the steps that I have to take when I'm growing, right? Initial steps, the baby steps. Once you started off a company, I think most of you must have done these things. You will be needing a PAN and a TAN. Now if you form a company in India, you will be automatically getting a PAN and a TAN along with your certificate of incorporation. The government itself will be giving you a PAN and a TAN, with which you can open your bank account. You can also get your GST registration done. GST registration is mandatory only if you have a certain amount of turnover, but many people prefer to take GST registration because if you're having a lot of contracts, uh, it will not go through unless you're dealing with a GST registered dealer. So many people say that whether you have the turnover, you don't have the turnover, please go and get a GST registration. Especially for government contracts, it is mandatory to get a GST registration. Office lease or rent, you know how it is in Visakha, and you must be knowing how it is in other cities also. It is very important to draft and get your vetting is where you prepare a legal agreement and you take it to a legal professional and ask him to go through it whether it is containing any provisions which are not in your favor or something like that. So it is always preferred that whenever you are entering into a legal agreement, especially if you are a startup or a beginner, go to a professional and get it vetted whether the agreement is good, especially in big cities where you have to spend a lot of money and enter into long lease agreements for office, etc. It is preferable unless you are into office sharing workspaces and all that should be a reasonably easier way of doing it. But if you're going to take an entire office premises on lease, then it is better that you enter into a lease agreement after getting it duly vetted. Employees and staff in India, it is relatively easier, but those who are dealing with other countries, you must be knowing that the employee entering into employee agreements, dealing with employees, any sort of problem that crops up in employee handling, etc., leads to a lot of litigation, especially in the US. So when we are entering into agreements with employees and staff, I think most of you are into IT. So in IT sector also the types of employee agreements are different. You have 2-3 different types of uh, methods in which you will be recruiting your employees. So for each type of thing, you need a different type of agreement. And confidentiality and non-disclosure, these things nowadays, there is a lot of discussion going on about it, the type of agreement that needs to be done. So all these things, it is always better to have one professional on hand who will be helping you with your back office preparations. Behind the scenes, a lot of things happens. So please be aware of these things. ఏది కూడా ఈజీ కాదండి, ఇందులో ప్రతిదీ కూడా గొడవలకి ఈజీగా వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. Like something as simple as this could lead to a product liability insurance if something goes wrong, right? So we need to be aware that whatever we are doing is always having a legal implication. So please be aware that everything is having a legal implication. How am I going to protect myself? That point of view should be there when we are doing a business venture. The finance, you have different types of finances. Either you take money in the form of share capital from somebody, or you can take it in the form of a loan. So that's a simple thing, debt or equity. How you are going to take and from where you are going to take? Are you going to a bank? Are you going to a venture capitalist? Are you going to your friends? For a small private limited company, I think people prefer going to their friends or relatives and just collect a small amount of money. But for each of these things, there will be conditions attached. In case of a private limited company, you are not allowed to take money from outsiders. Whereas in a public limited company, it's a different thing. So you need to take care of the company law provisions if you are having a company. And if you are going in for third party equity from foreign sources, then again the Foreign Exchange Management Act will be coming into play. So nowadays RBI is having a close lens on each and every penny, which is either going from India to other countries or coming into India from abroad. So we need to take care of where the money is coming from and what are the legal provisions that are attracted in this case. Registrations and approvals, nowadays you need to get a registration. Am I running out of time? Please keep me informed. So many registrations are required depending on the type of business you are doing, the location where you are doing. In some locations you need some registration, some locations you don't need them. Depending on the size of your business, whether it's an MSME, depending on the nature of your business, if it is a sector based thing, so for some you may be needing pollution control certificates. Okay, the standard thing is an MSME and a Udyog Aadhar. You need a domain name, you need a trademark if you're going to protect your either your brand or your logo or your name of the company or whatever. Your GST, your startup registration, Provident Fund and ESI. Nowadays, if you're forming a company, you're automatically asked to sign up for the Provident Fund and ESI registration. It becomes part of the incorporation process. Though the Provident Fund Act and ESA Act say that you are eligible or you are required, it is mandated only if you have certain number of employees. But despite that, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs portal asks you to mandatorily register for PF and ESA during the process of incorporation. So as soon as you get a company, you also get a PF number. It's called as an establishment number nowadays. You get it as soon as you're incorporated, you get a PF and a ESA number. Then since I'm having a PF and ESA number, do I need to inform the government about something? or since I am not having, startup will be having how many, 2 or 3 employees kada. So 2 or 3 employees, is it required to file my PF return or something? No, it is not required. You have to declare that I am not having sufficient number of employees and do the compliance. Even if it is not required, you have to still inform the government that I am not having employees. So again, there is, if you don't, then again there is a penal provision for that. So these things, yeah. So you need to keep these things in mind. ISO, most of the shipping companies in Vizag, they go for a mandatory ISO because that is a part of the requirement. So depending on the industry in which you are in, depending on the standards of that industry, if it is required, you need to go and get an ISO also. IEC, if you are doing any foreign exchange transactions, or if you are importing, exporting something, then you need to go in for an IEC. And IEC, there will be a mandatory annual filing return, which you need to file. If you don't file, again, that will be a, everything is a big problem if you don't comply nowadays. So again and again, I'm saying the government is coming up with a lot of legislations, a lot of provisions. So please keep one person on hand who is a dedicated professional who will be taking care of your compliances. Otherwise, the other side is not looking not so good, right? Sector specific, yeah, depending on your industry. If you're in, if you say you're in shipping, then you have some shipping organizations where you need to get registered. If you're in seafood industry, there is a separate organization for seafood in Vizag where you need to get, yeah, right. I couldn't hear it, but FSSI food. If you're in the food industry, you need your FSI license. Again, that needs an annual compliance if you're having an FSI license. So all this is irrespective of the fact whether you're doing business or you're not doing business. If you have started a company, you have to do all these compliances even if I'm not doing any business. Many businessmen come to us and say that we are not doing business, why do we have to do all these compliances? No sir, whether you're doing business, whether you're not doing business, if you have started a company, if you have started an LLP, there are so many filings to be done, which are again classified into annual filing and event based filing. Every year you have to file certain things, and again if something happens you have to file certain things. సో ఇవి మిస్ అయితే ఆ కాన్సిక్వెన్సెస్ చాలా భయంకరంగా ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. కాబట్టి అది తెలుసుకోవాలి మనం. బుక్స్ ఆఫ్ అకౌంట్ మెయింటైన్ చేయాలి. అవసరం అండి. మీకు చెప్పినా ఎవరైనా చెప్పకపోయినా ఇన్వాయిసెస్, బుక్స్ ఆఫ్ అకౌంట్, ఇట్ ఈస్ నెసరీ టు బి మెయింటైన్ బికాస్ అట్ లేటర్ స్టేజ్ వెన్ యూఆర్ గ్రోయింగ్ దెన్ ఇట్ బికమ్స్ నెసరీ. రికార్డ్స్ ఉండాలండి. ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ TDS హ్యాస్ టు బి డిడక్టెడ్ అండ్ హ్యాస్ టు బి రెమిటెడ్ రెగ్యులర్లీ టు ద గవర్నమెంట్. రిటర్న్స్ ఫైల్ చేయాలి. GST, ప్రావిడెంట్ ఫండ్, ESI, న్యూ లేబర్ కోడ్స్ వచ్చాయి. Right now the labor acts with which we are going is our regular older like payment of gratuity, etc., bonus act, but now the new labor codes have come which are not yet operational. If you are taken a loan from a bank or a financial institution, there will be some other conditions which they are imposing on you by way of their agreements. సో ఆ బ్యాంక్ వాడి లోన్ అగ్రిమెంట్ మనం ఎప్పుడు చదవమండి. మనం బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్ ఓపెన్ చేసేటప్పుడు చదవము, బ్యాంక్ లో లోన్ తీసుకున్నప్పుడు చదవము, వాడు ఇంత కట్టిస్తాడు, సంతకం పెట్టి ఇచ్చేస్తాం. కానీ దాంట్లో చాలా ఉంటాయండి వేర్ వీఆర్ సపోజింగ్ నేను ఏదైనా చేస్తున్నప్పుడు బిఫోర్ ఐ డూ సంథింగ్ ఐ నీడ్ టు కీప్ ద బ్యాంక్ ఆర్ ద ఫైనాన్షియల్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఇన్ఫార్మ్డ్ అండ్ టేక్ దర్ ప్రయర్ అప్రూవల్. ఇఫ్ ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ ఫర్ అ సెపరేట్ లోన్ దెన్ ఐ నీడ్ టు కీప్ హిమ్ ఇన్ఫార్మ్డ్, ఆర్ ఇఫ్ ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ ఫర్ additional equity also I need to keep the bank informed. These are there in the agreement, but we generally either we read them or we don't really give them much attention. So compliances అంటే ఫైలింగ్స్, వాట్ వి ఫైల్ విత్ ద గవర్నమెంట్ చాలా రకాలు ఉంటాయి. ఎవ్రీ ఇయర్ మనం కొన్ని ఫైల్ చేయాలి. అలాగే మన దగ్గర ఉన్న డైరెక్టర్ మారినా, మన అడ్రస్ మారినా, మన దగ్గర ఉన్న క్యాపిటల్ మారినా ఇంకొన్ని ఫైలింగ్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో వీటిని ఈవెంట్ బేస్డ్ ఫైలింగ్స్, యాన్యువల్ ఫైలింగ్స్ అంటాం, రైట్. కొన్ని రిజిస్టర్స్ మెయింటైన్ చేయాలి. కాకుండా లిస్టెడ్ కంపెనీ అంటే స్టాక్ ఎక్స్చేంజ్ లిస్టెడ్ కంపెనీ అయితే కనుక స్టాక్ ఎక్స్చేంజ్ రెగ్యులేషన్స్, డిపాజిటరీ అంటే ఇప్పుడు షేర్స్ అన్ని మనకి ఇంతకు ముందులాగా కాగితాలు లేవు. ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఈజ్ ఇన్ ద ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ ఫార్మ్ అండ్ ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ ఫార్మ్ ఇస్ గవర్న్డ్ బై ద డిపాజిటరీ యాక్ట్. ఇట్ ఇస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ ద డిమెటీరియలైజ్డ్ షేర్స్. సో వాటికి సంబంధించిన కొన్ని రెగ్యులేషన్స్, కాంప్లైన్సెస్ ఉంటాయి, అవి ఫాలో అవ్వాలి. ఫారెన్ ఫండింగ్ ఏదైనా చేస్తుంటే అగైన్ ఫారెన్ ఎక్స్చేంజ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ యాక్ట్, యాంటీ మనీ లాండరింగ్ యాక్ట్, PMLA, అన్నిటి ప్రొవిజన్స్ వస్తాయి. ఫారెన్ హోల్డింగ్ అంటే మనం ఒక కంపెనీ ఇండియాలో ఒక కంపెనీ పెట్టి దాని సబ్సిడరీ ఫారెన్ లో పెట్టచ్చు, లేదా ఫారెన్ లో ఒక కంపెనీ ఉంది వాడు ఇండియాలో ఒక సబ్సిడరీ పెట్టచ్చు. ఎదర్ కేస్ దెర్ విల్ బి అట్రాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ద ఫారెన్ ఎక్స్చేంజ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ యాక్ట్. లేకపోతే నాకు ఇండియాలో ఉన్న కంపెనీకి ఒక ఫారెన్ బ్రాంచ్ కానీ లైజన్ కానీ పెట్టచ్చు, లేదా ఒక ఫారెన్ లో ఉన్న కంపెనీకి దే మే బి ఓపెనింగ్ బ్రాంచ్ ఆర్ లైజన్ ఆఫీస్ ఇన్ ఇండియా. Intention is not to scare or something like that. I'm just saying that these are the things which people don't really pay attention to. They pay attention. A businessman is interested in his business. He is not interested in the other things. But these things are equally important given the present conditions. We have to be a little careful about the compliance part also, because we keep seeing clients day in and day out who are more interested in their business. They have perfect focus on the operations part of it, how to do our business, how to grow in the business, but they are not unfortunately they are not very interested or aware of these things, and these things play an equally important role in keeping the business stable, steady, in getting you a good brand image. A 100% compliant company will be having a very good brand image, both with your financiers, with your bankers, with your customers, with your stakeholders, all of them. So it is necessary to keep this in mind. Engage some good person to take care of your compliance and legal matters. Operational checks ఉంటాయండి. Agreements మనం మామూలుగా we just keep signing agreements, right? We don't really take the time to read through them. So if you really don't have the time, or if you don't want to sit down and read the agreement, please engage a professional to sit and read the agreement for you, vet it and say whether it is in your favor or whether there is something in the agreement which is not in your favor. Because tomorrow if it goes to court, then the agreement paper will be the authority. So you need to see how your paper is being drafted. Agreements with agents, franchises, affiliates. Many of you are going in for franchising, association, affiliation nowadays. So your affiliation agreements, franchise agreements need to be vetted properly. Agreements with contract suppliers, customers, key management personnel, managing director or your chief executive officer or your chief financial officer. If he jumps the company, it will be affecting the company badly. So how are you going to draft an agreement with your key management personnel? Then if something goes wrong in the company, if you're designing a product and it doesn't work properly, then there will always be the negligence or the product liability insurance problems. How are you going to protect yourself in case of this sort of మన సర్వీస్ బాగుండకపోయినా లేకపోతే మన ప్రోడక్ట్ బాగుండకపోయినా అవతల మన మీద కేసు వేసే అవకాశం ఎప్పుడు ఉంటుంది. సో దాని నుంచి మనల్ని ఎలా ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటాం మనల్ని మనం? కన్స్యూమర్ ప్రొటెక్షన్ యాక్ట్. అండ్ there is a funny thing about the principal and agent thing. I don't know how to say, but sometimes if you ask somebody to do something, he goes and causes harm to somebody else, even though you are not responsible, you are indirectly responsible. Vicarious liability అంటాం. సో ఒక డ్రైవర్కి ఒక ట్రక్ ఇచ్చి ఎక్కడికో ఒక సామాన్లు తీసుకెళ్ళమని చెప్తాం. ఆ డ్రైవర్ వెళ్ళా ఉన్న గుద్దేస్తే ఆ ఓనర్ రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ అవుతాడు. సో అలాంటివి కూడా ఉంటాయి. హౌ డు యూ ప్రొటెక్ట్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ ఫ్రమ్ దీస్ సార్ట్ ఆఫ్ థింగ్స్? How? There is a link. Can we play that link? But it will have a sound. Will the sound play? I just want. It's a 1-minute video if I have time. Now I'm trying to answer the question of how. Not able to connect. Yes, yeah. It is in the folder. Yeah. Fine.
మీరు అడుగుతున్నారు కాబట్టి చెప్తున్నాను. జీవితం అనేది ఒక యుద్ధం. దేవుడు మనల్ని వార్జోన్లో పడేశారు. అలర్ట్, ప్రొటెక్ట్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్. లైఫ్ లో ఒక గోల్ అని పెట్టుకుంది. పసితో పరిగెత్తండి. పాడాలనుకుంటే పసిగా పాడేయండి, చదవాలనుకుంటే పసిగా చదివి. లైఫ్ లో ఏ గోలు లేనోళ్ళు మాత్రం వీలైనంత త్వరగా చచ్చుకోండి. మీ వల్ల మాకు ఏ ఉపయోగం లేదు. గుర్తుపెట్టుకో, నీకంటే తోపెవరు లేడు. నీకేదనిపిస్తే వచ్చి ఎవరి మాట వినద్దు, మనిషి మాట అసలు వినద్దు. నీ టార్గెట్ 10 మైల్స్ అయితే 11th మైల్. కాస్త దెమ్మ తిరిగిపోవాలి.
మహేష్ బాబు ఫ్యాన్స్ ఉన్నారండి? నేను కూడా. అయితే సినిమా పేరు బిజినెస్ మ్యాన్. ద నేమ్ ఆఫ్ ద మూవీ ఇస్ బిజినెస్ మ్యాన్. Anyone knows what business he does in that movie? He's trying to make mafia legal. Before the speech, what he says is, I want to make mafia legal in the country. So it is not a good business model, and please don't try to replicate it. Apart from that, I wanted to talk about the attitude of a businessman, which he was displaying in this video. How many of you think that it is the right attitude, the positive thinking or the motivation which he was displaying in this video? ఇది మంచిదండి ఒక బిజినెస్ మ్యాన్ కానీ ఎంతమంది అనుకుంటున్నారు? How many of you think that it is a good idea to be motivated and positive? Not completely, but to certain extent. Yeah, right. Yeah, there is one sentence in this where he says, I also agree that 50% a person should be motivated and strong enough to carry on a business, because when you're doing a business, there will always be certain setbacks or certain challenges. You should be strong enough and brave enough to face them. But he says one thing, you would want to win at. I beg to differ, Puri Jagannath Garu, on this point. Please talk to people. When you're doing a business, sometimes there are certain aspects which are confidential, which you don't feel like disclosing to people. But in spite of that, please find people whom you can trust and please talk to those people, because there are so many things that we don't know apart from our business, which people who deal with clients on a regular basis come to know that these are the things happening. So you need to talk to people. So please talk. Don't keep it to yourself. అందరితో మాట్లాడండి. అలాగనే అందరికి అన్ని చెప్పేయకండి. Please keep your secrets, but please do talk. Yeah. The biggest mistake you can do is to think that you can do everything by yourself. Most of the business coaches, the first thing that they say is, please don't think that you can do everything by yourself. There are certain things that you can do. మీరు చేసే పనులు కొన్ని ఉంటే అవి మీరు చేయండి, వేరే వాళ్ళు చేసే పనులు కొన్ని ఉంటే అవి వేరే వాళ్ళకి. Please delegate your non-core activities to, I think I wrote that somewhere. Talk, discuss, consult, listen, seek independent opinions, value different perspectives. Please delegate your non-core activities to a professional or an experienced person in that area. You don't have to take it on your head, right? Write it down. I have one actual real life case where they let out an entire floor on lease in sometime in the 90s at a very huge amount, and they gave an escalation clause of 10% increment every year. But it was between two known companies. Both of them were companies, both of them knew each other, so they just wrote the agreement and they went ahead, and that lease was not increased. So now after so many years, they came back and they are asking, what can we do about it? Number one, was it reflecting in your account that there is an arrears of rent, or there was an arrears in the incremental rent? That was not reflecting in the accounts. They didn't file it anywhere. Okay, sir, you didn't show in your account. Did you give them a notice? Either company and they knew each other, right? So they were feeling very friendly and familiar about the entire thing. They didn't give a proper notice. Forget a legal notice. They didn't even send an email, please pay our arrears of incremental rent. So there was no correspondence, there was no communication, there was nothing in the accounts reflecting that there is an arrears of incremental rent, right? So there was no what, రాసుకోలేదు అంటే ఒక అగ్రిమెంట్ రాసుకుని ఆ తర్వాత they didn't do the follow up action. ఏదైనా మిస్ అయినప్పుడు what has to be done, that was not done. So documentation is the key to success. Great documentation takes great communication and puts it in a manageable framework that everyone can access for success. So litigation చూస్తూ ఉంటామండి, డే ఇన్ అండ్ డే అవుట్. I keep coming across cases where people fight with each other. వాడి దగ్గర ₹1,00,00,000 పెట్టానండి మా బామ్మర్ది అని చెప్పి ఎంత మోసం చేశాడు. When you are investing 1 crore rupees in somebody's business, did you take the care to write an investment agreement? It would have cost him peanuts at that time when he was investing. Maybe it would have taken him 1,000 rupees or 2,000, right, to write down an investment agreement and keep it in his record. He didn't take the care. తెలిసినాడే కదా, మా ఆవిడకి తమ్ముడే అని చెప్పి ₹1,00,00,000 పెట్టేస్తాను. ఇప్పుడు చూడండి ఎంత పని చేశాడు. వాడు చేయలేదు. He did what he had to do. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. Take care, write it down. తెలియకపోతే ఏం రాయాలో ప్లీజ్ go to the earlier slide. Talk to somebody who knows what to do. Take the opinion, then write it down, document it. Please protect your documents. మళ్ళీ బామర్దికి ఇవ్వద్దు ఆ డాక్యుమెంట్, మన దగ్గర పెట్టుకోవాలి. Detach. Do your operations. Take care of your marketing. Take care of your operations. Take care of your business. Take care of your technology. But do the things which you are supposed to do, and the things which somebody else is supposed to do, let them do it. If you are not familiar with management, if you are not familiar with administration, if you are not familiar with compliance and legal matters, please engage somebody to take care of that part. That will be a burden off your head. You can focus on your business and let the person who is in charge of management take care of the management. Let the person in charge of administration and legal matters take care of that. You take care of the business. Not at a very low stage. There was one man who was fighting with me. I am trying to get some finance for my company and you are asking me to engage an accountant. No sir, it is a balance. You first take care of your financial needs, try and get some basic finance, some bridge loan to start off your company, and after that you engage some people to help you out. Otherwise you will be doing the phone call work, you will be doing the email work, you will be doing the invoice writing work, everything you only will be doing. No. So కొంచెం మనుషులు పెట్టుకోవాలి అవసరమైన చోట. Invite experienced person as non-executive members in your core team. So this is one thing I am trying to push through with most of my clients is have some people with whom you can talk, not work. Whether you pay them, whether you don't pay them, it's a different thing, but have a team, say 3 people, 4 people. The best team size will be 5 people to 15 people, maximum 15, minimum 5. They say that if you're having a strategic team, it should be 5 to 15 people. Meet once in a while, sit down and talk, discuss about your strategy. And these people need not be your employees or your friends or your brother-in-law. They can be people who are having different viewpoints, different perspectives in different areas. వాళ్ళతో కలిసి కూర్చొని మధ్యలో మాట్లాడుతూ ఉంటే you keep getting ideas. You get to see the perspective of the other person, how he is looking at your business. Maybe something is there which you are not able to see, but the other person will be able to see. చాలాసార్లు జరుగుతుంది, మనకు కనపడదు, పక్కవాడికి కనపడుతుంది. So please find people to sit down and talk to. Have a team. Pay for good quality services. Most of the time we find that people tend to negotiate. It is good. You should always be aware of costing. But for good quality services, if it is necessary to pay, especially in the Indian legal scenario, please pay. Because the other side is doesn't look so good, right? Okay, am I getting through on it? Fine. Do I have 2 more minutes? This point is after my heart, and most of the clients, I keep talking to them about strategy. What is your strategy? బామర్దికి డబ్బులు ఇచ్చాడు కదా, అతను చెప్పాడు ఇదే నా స్ట్రాటజీ అని. ఏంటి బాస్ మీ స్ట్రాటజీ అంటే, దే స్టార్టెడ్ ఎ ఫార్మా కంపెనీ. This man was actually a director in a big company. He was doing very good business. He was very well settled, and he was my client for that other company. Now his brother-in-law started a pharma company, and he came to him and said, Baba, double kawali. Fine. He can give, he can afford to give him, so he was ready to give. No investment agreement in this case. He just gave him the money, whatever he wanted. And what is the business strategy? So on what basis did you trust this person and give him money? If you just gave him money to play with, I don't mind, but he gave it for a business person. What is your business strategy? He said that very simple, sir. For pharma company, the strategy is that the doctor has to write the prescription and we will be supplying to the medical shop, right? So if the doctor is writing the prescription, the medical shop is prescribing, then the patient will buy. That's all. That is the business strategy. What could go wrong in this? Okay, I don't know if this is going live and all that, but this gentleman, this Bamardi, was given a lot of amount which he had to spend for getting the prescriptions written. So he took that money which was given for business purpose and he went to Goa with his friends. Okay, money spent. No doctor is writing no prescription. No medical shop is loading their product. Product is not getting sold. Bhavgara angry. What to do now? Please don't think that a market tactic or a business tactic is a strategy. It is not a strategy. It is just a business tactic which you are adopting to capture the market or to beat the market. That can never be a strategy. Your strategy will be, I think many of you management people are there, MBS. Strategy and a unique value proposition. Now strength enti, where I am coming from. I'll give you an example. I am a practitioner and when I started off I was alone in Visakha with a very small clientele. But I had one unique value proposition. I had my office inside my house, so I could get up anytime I wanted and I could do my filings. So I could get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and work till 5 o'clock in the morning and complete all my filings. And most of my other counterparts were facing problems in the portal because of heavy load. If you do it between 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock during the daytime, the portal will not support and they are not able to do the filings, but I could always deliver on time. And most of my colleagues were not able to understand how I am able to complete my filings on time. That is my strength. And for example, చెప్తున్నానండి, what is your unique value proposition? What is the thing that your competitor cannot do and what is the thing that you only can do? And he will not be able to replicate it. Forget replicate it, he won't be able to understand what you are doing. అది మీ యూనిక్ వాల్యూ ప్రపోజిషన్. మీ స్ట్రాటజీ దాని మీద బేస్ అయి ఉంటుంది. యువర్ స్ట్రాటజీ విల్ బి based on your unique value proposition which your competitor neither will understand nor even if he understand he won't be able to replicate. Two, many people think that I should have a goal, should have a target, I should have a objective and that is my strategy. No sir, that is not your strategy. That is just your plan or your goal or your objective. Whether you reach the goal, whether you don't reach the goal, it doesn't matter. If you have a proper strategy, that will take you, that will give you clarity. Three, many people talk about positivity, motivation, visualization, how I will be after 5 years, how I will be after 20 years. This is going on nowadays and it is good. Positivity is good, but don't take it away from reality. So your strategy should be close to reality. Not at the cost of positivity. Be positive, but also be real in what you're doing, right? So this I try to push uh, with most of my clients to sit down and work out a strategy. If possible, discuss it with a team and keep reviewing it from time to time so that you have clarity and you're close to reality in what you're doing. So, right. Something after my own heart, is it? So spend a time on this. Yeah, I'm coming to the end of my presentation, sirs. We have some more points to discuss in case you want to take this discussion further in maybe after a gap or something. Why people are going over companies and LLPs? There is certain things that you can do with a company and LLP, like integration, diversification, okay, outsourcing, affiliations, associations, things which you can't do with a partnership firm or a sole proprietor company. You can do with a company and you can do it legally and in a more structured manner. If you want to go deeper into this, we can find out how to get a corporate advantage, how to benefit from it. There are so many things that are happening in the government and also in the society with respect to sustainable development, environmental social governance, corporate social responsibility. ఇవన్నీ ఉన్నాయి అంటే గవర్నమెంట్ కూడా సపోర్ట్ చేస్తుంది. If you're doing something, if you're a startup and you're coming with a green solution to something, then the government and the lawmakers are also supporting us. So these are also some points with, if you're interested, we can take it further. Thank you. No, no doubt. No. Now, if you're only doing business, if you're focusing only on your business, then it'll be easy for you. But don't try to do everything. If you're a doctor, then focus on the patient. Uh, don't try to do what the compounder is doing. Let the compounder take care of the whatever compounding. uh, yeah, some basic bridge loan things should be there. You should start off with mostly what a small entrepreneur will do is collect some basic amount, say something between 10 lakhs to 25 lakhs to 50 lakhs, depending on the size of the business, depending on his operations, from friends and relatives, because immediately a bank may not jump in. Even if a venture capitalist is totally fascinated with your thing, he will always put the money in a phased manner. I don't think he'll be putting it immediately. So you need to start off with some sort of help from near and dear, and take it from there. But don't try to do everything yourself. Even if you have to outsource part-time accountant or outsource some part of it, or if you are having a set of agreements which are entering into, please consult a professional, pay him whatever it has to be paid, and get it vetted. See that it is proper. Yeah, sorry అండి, అది వెట్టింగ్ అనేది మేము వాడే మాట అండి, కరెక్ట్గా అడిగారు. వి అండి, డబ్ల్యూ ఉండదు ఇందులో, విఈటిటిఐఎన్జి. సో మనం ఎవరితో అన్నా ఏదైనా అగ్రిమెంట్ ఎంటర్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు ఒక లాయర్ దగ్గరికి కానీ లేకపోతే ఒక లీగల్ ప్రొఫెషనల్ దగ్గరికి కానీ వెళ్ళి వాళ్ళకి అది చూపించి సరిగా ఉందా లేదా అని అడుగుతామండి. దాన్ని వెట్టింగ్ అంటారు అనమాట. సో అది తడి కాదు అక్కడ. Legal aid is offered in many places, but mostly in law colleges there will be legal aid. My son is studying in Geetam School of Law. They have a legal aid center where they do this sort of things. But I think any professional will be happy to vet an agreement. Yeah, yeah. Relatively, you can take a look at the market and see who can actually, if you, depending on your affordability and depending on his availability and these things, you can always refer it to somebody and get it vetted. And I think it will not be so much what you are thinking. Just a simple agreement. ఒకసారి చూసి బాగుందా లేదా చెప్పండి, మీ చార్జెస్ ఎంత చెప్పండి అంటే, most of the time the other person may say it is okay sir, this seems okay, this looks like a standard agreement, please go ahead, you need not pay. But if it involves something a little more intricate, then perhaps he'll be charging you. Start start the process, you'll get to know. Sorry sir, I didn't get, I didn't. Yeah. Correct. In India, paying for legal, uh, for anything legal, anything dealing with a registration or a proper opinion on how to get your uh, corporate things done, please try to pay the premium. I prefer, and totally a personal opinion. I'm not at all. No, it depends. Yes, I don't have a ballpark number, but if the way the things are going on in India in the legal scenario, in the statutory thing, the other side is bad. So if you have to get into business, if you have to do big, and if you have to pay for some legal opinion, if you have to pay for some statutory approvals or something, please get it done through the trusted channel. You find out, you inquire in the market who is trustworthy and get it done through a trusted channel. There will be some other business associate, no, who has got these things done. They will be referring somebody or something, word of mouth, or if you, but please go through a trusted channel, pay and get it done. That is safer than risking the low cost method. It could prove costly. I don't know how to put it. Yeah, it's a beautiful idea. I have a database of trusted consultants, but then you need to get liability insurance for yourself before you do that. Yeah. Any serious question? Please. Yeah. Uh, I'll try answering differently. You have a concept of internal auditor. So you have the concept of a external auditor who is your auditor who will be auditing your accounts. మీ అకౌంట్స్ ఆడిట్ చేసే మనిషి బయట ఉంటాడు. వాడు ఏంటంటే ఒక బుక్ పట్టుకొని వస్తాడు, ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ బుక్ జిఎస్టీ పట్టుకొని వచ్చి అందులో అన్ని చదువుతూ ఉంటాడు. తలనొప్పి వస్తుంది మనకి. సో మనం ఏం చేస్తాం, ఒక ఇంటర్నల్ ఆడిటర్ని పెట్టుకుంటాం. ద ఇంటర్నల్ ఆడిటర్ ఇస్ మై పర్సన్. హీ విల్ బి advising you on how to prepare your books of account, how to keep your records, so that it will be a balancing, it will be a harmony between the external statutory bodies as well as your internal affairs. మీరు లోపల మీరు ఏదో 10 పనులు చేసుకుంటారు, దానికి దీనికి మధ్యలో బ్యాలెన్స్ చేసేవాడు ఇంటర్నల్ ఆడిటర్. Exactly in the same way, outside the laws of the country, there are around 200 different laws which are affecting a particular company or an LLP or a firm in India as of today. So ఈ బయట ఉన్న ఎక్స్టర్నల్ లాస్ అండ్ అడ్వకేట్స్ అండ్ స్టాచ్యుటరీ అథారిటీస్ వాళ్ళంతా ఎక్స్టర్నల్, అండ్ యువర్ బిజినెస్, ఈ రెండింటికి మధ్యలో కీప్ ఏ బఫర్. దట్ విల్ బి యువర్ లీగల్ కన్సల్టెంట్ ఆర్ యువర్ లీగల్ అడ్వైజర్ ఆర్ యువర్ లీగల్ ఫ్రెండ్ ఆర్ వాట్ ఎవర్, who will be providing you some comfort between the external and the internal. For that, if you have to spend, my personal opinion is please include it in your budget. When you are budgeting for your business, మీ బిజినెస్ ప్లాన్ లో బడ్జెటింగ్ కూడా ఉంటుంది కదండి, బడ్జెటింగ్ కూడా ఉంటుంది కదా మీ బిజినెస్ ప్లాన్ లో. బడ్జెటింగ్ పెట్టుకునేటప్పుడు దీనికి కూడా ఒక ప్రొవిజన్ పెట్టుకోండి. సో డోంట్ లెట్ ఇట్ కమ్ యాజ్ సర్ప్రైజ్, అబ్బా సడన్ గా ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చింది కాదు. లెట్ us include it in our thing. Yes sir. Sir, I think I achieved my purpose today. Exactly, educating the entrepreneur is the purpose of today's session, where I wanted to give a primer and not at all intending to scare anybody, Andy, but we keep coming across clients who have put up a bad show. There was one client who did not know exactly that Bamardi who went to Goa. He could have gone to Goa also, but he did not know that he had to do the annual filings. Okay, company every year accounts file cheyali. That is the most basic thing that a company has to do, right? Do your annual filings with income tax and the registrar. He didn't know that. He didn't do that, and he let it go. 2020 lo petti 21 అయిపోయింది, 22 అయిపోయింది, 22 December or something, September. Somebody told him something, and no, sorry, he went back to the uncle. Uncle called him, what happened to my money? So he went to the uncle, and during the course of chatting, uncle is already an MD in a company, is running his own business. So he asked him, what happened to the filings? He said, what filings? And the government is like brandishing their this thing, and per day 100 rupees per form, income tax portal 100 rupees, ROC portal 100 rupees, GST portal 100 rupees per form per day. So they drew up a bill of some 5 lakhs or something just for doing the filings. In addition to uncle losing this money, he also had to shell out that money for protecting his brother-in-law again. So yes, the government is very strict, and unless they bring down all their regulations, maybe by 70 to 80 to 90%, if you're going to run a business, you have to be you have to be aware of what is going on behind the scenes and how it can affect you badly if you are not aware of what is happening. Not at all the intention to scare you, sir, but we keep coming across these things. We keep meeting clients who don't know that this is there. They come to know when it is too late, and they end up paying huge penalties. So just with an intention to avoid these sort of things. And if we can have the follow-up series of different things, yes, sir. Yes. Yeah, it cannot be some classes thing, right? It has to be again. This time I should use a different hero. No, no, it's the right question, but I don't have the right answer. It's like asking if there is a cartel of doctors who can tell us different types of surgeries for different ailments in a single place. Single window is a requirement in the Indian scenario. What we need is a single window, and we are working towards it. I don't, again, this will be soliciting, but I am on the way to forming an LLP with different consultants in different areas for having expertise so that we can offer a single window solution for things. But apart from that, we have places like Chamber of Commerce, etc. Uh, so many professional bodies who are conducting seminars on a regular basis. If we have a company secretaries institute, we have the bar association, we have the chamber of commerce, we have the chartered accountants institute, cost accountants. These people are conducting seminars and workshops on a regular basis. So if those people, the faculty from those institutes, they can be invited here to give a view of say on income tax, say on GST, say on law. I'm sorry, I'm eating time, but you can throw something at me if I'm crossing. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for very illuminating session. Now it's time for a networking break. Refreshments sponsored by ICICI Bank are available outside. I request you all to be back inside in 10 minutes. Please avoid bringing the refreshments inside and please use dustbin space outside to dispose of it. Thank you. Please be here in 10 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. We now have Mr. Sivasaran, who is going to speak about commercial hybrid vehicles.
So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, I am Sivasaran from Raghu Institute of Technology. I'm just presenting my. So, I have an idea about commercial hybrid vehicle systems. Like most of the systems which we are using in like electric vehicles are end-to-end solutions or last-mile solutions. We use it only in the city or in certain ranges where intercity transportation is not done through the electric vehicles. So intercity transportation is mostly dependent on the heavy vehicles, which are like sorry, so which are lorries, trucks, and you might have known like small commercial vehicles, right? So a part of this, like we have uh, divided, like we have an idea of designing an hybrid vehicle. So we have an idea of hybrid vehicles where most of you are aware, right? We use electric vehicles like the drivetrain technology of electric propulsion and the what do we say engines like internal combustion engines to provide the range and reduce the emissions. Like our idea is just to increase the mileage of the vehicles like commercial vehicles, which will what do we say, which will help the fleet operators or the commercials like we know all the FMCG products are like manufactured somewhere and brought to us. So most of the logistics are dependent on these hybrid like commercial vehicle systems. So we want to enter into this segment and increase the usage of the electric vehicles in these segments. So most of you guys might know that what is an electric vehicle. It is just a vehicle which uses electricity, the stored electricity in the battery to just run the vehicle. And what what is the comparison of internal combustion vehicle and an electric vehicle is that internal combustion engine is less efficient compared to an electric vehicle. But the thing is, the battery prices of electric vehicles are too high for manufacturers to build and run it. So we might have aware like Maruti is one of the company which uses smart hybrid vehicle systems, which helps the like vehicle to increase its mileage. So we want to adapt the same system or the similar system for the commercial vehicle system, commercial vehicles. So where our main targeted customers are like logistics and transportation systems, like the buses. So we might be, I think how many of you are aware that the mileage of a bus is 3 to 5. So to increase this, we are adapting this hybrid system so that the per kilometer cost of uh, the running cost of vehicle per kilometer reduces. So this is the thing which encourages the government to support us. Like I mean to say, government will help these kind of systems to adapt because government gave some regulations that 15 years is the vehicle life for the lorries and you should not use it more than that. You have to scrap it. So what we are trying to do is we want to manufacture some electric commercial vehicles, or we want to retrofit them so that the life can be extended by using the old system by not increasing the scrap. So actually these are the systems like heavy commercial vehicles are almost 45% are till date, like which are more used in electric commercial vehicles. So what we want to do is that heavy commercial vehicles are to be like they have to be into electric, so that the most of the pollution which is produced by this will be reduced and the cost of running will be also reduced, so that the inflations might be reduced, we hope so. Small commercial vehicles sir, and MCVs and medium commercial vehicle and light commercial vehicles. So this is just a prototype which I have designed. It's a electric, just a electric bike with a gear system, so which increases the load, which helps in increasing the load and everything. And this is one of the model. Like, can we play it? Yeah, it's a retrofitted model. Play this out. Yeah, just reduce the sound. It's a bit noisy. Yeah, that's fine. So actually, we have designed it in gear system. Like most of the vehicles will be like uh, so silent and so smooth, but this is a bit sound like noisy. So we made it in such a way that like if we need that feel of riding a bike, so we just made it for ourselves, and I am using it currently by taking the approval. So this is what is my idea, and we are hoping that to raise to develop this system, we need some investment and development. I mean support. Thank you. Any, sorry. So any queries and suggestions? Please. No, no. All the automotive chains are my competitors. I accept that, but innovations is one of the thing. Like innovation and patents are one of the thing. Like sir has told that we need to have a unique proposition. So our unique proposition will be a hybrid segment. So that would be a competitor. Yes, sir. The thing is, if you increase your mileage, like if we make the vehicle which is more giving more mileage, people accept to buy that in spite of the rate. Yes, sir. We accept that, but to build that, we need a source funding. Like we got the support from our college for technical support, but not for the financials. Yeah, it's in working condition. I'm using it. So we used a 28 Ah battery pack, which is similar in Revolt, Aether. 28 Ah battery pack is one of the thing which is similar, but we are getting a mileage of more than, like, it's not a mileage, it's a range coming to electric vehicle. So for a full charge, we are getting a range of 80 kilometers on high speed and almost 130 kilometers on low speed. Yes, yes. Like it's just my prototype. I just made. Yes, sir. Not for bikes. So hybrid vehicles will not have a range. Hybrid vehicles will have a mileage just as our regular vehicles. But the thing is, normal lorries and trucks which we are using, buses, they'll have a max mileage of 3 to 5. We are trying that we'll increase the range to like mileage to 8 to 10. So yeah, coming yes sir, sure. Come again, sir. It's a hybrid system. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I accept, sir. Manufactured battery. Yeah, which we need to import. The thing is, sir, so it depends on. Yeah, accept it, sir. The thing is, for the first question which you have raised, so we are importing the elements and we are extracting some elements which we require to manufacture battery. The thing is, we are trying to reduce the battery size because it's a hybrid vehicle. It uses a petrol, so we reduce the battery size so that the average overall cost will be reduced. So we use a smaller battery pack compared to a bigger one. So, for example, Oelectra is one of the BYD Oelectra is one of a bus manufacturing company for electric vehicle, which nearly uses a 200 kilowatt battery pack. So we use only 40 kilowatt battery pack to produce this. So the overall cost will be reduced. So and import will be reduced, and most of the thing will be localized. And we are trying to make in such a way that we could run this vehicle on a hybrid system, like on a hydrogen system, so that hydrogen can be manufactured in-house in India, like Adani and Ambani, like Reliance Industries are trying to go for greener energy sources like green hydrogen. So we can use this and manufacture, like use the hydrogen produced in-house. So that will reduce the import and extraction of the lithium batteries which are required, and lithium is one of the limited source in Earth. So so sure, sir. No, no, sir. Again, sir, I'm not able to. I'm yeah. No, sir. I'm just explaining this. Yeah, I accepted, sir. The thing is, I'm just disclosing all the things which are used in this. But the thing is, so we are going to what we say manufacture or retrofit the commercial vehicle systems. I couldn't get you. No, 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 sir. Actually, the thing is, in the first stage, we want to do a retrofitment system. After the what we say, our economics, we'll come again, sir. Sure. Yeah, we are in idea stage, sir. We just build we have just built a small prototype. Uh, sir, we are thinking, yeah, it takes some time. So it might take 5 years. So now we are going to start about retrofitment, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir, for the like. Yes, sir. Sure, sir. So, to be straightforward, now we are trying to retrofit the electric, like commercial vehicles. So for that, yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, IC engines. Yes, yes, sir. So, yes, sir. So electric, like, in spite, like, let us talk for an example. I just told like it is a like a, high, a commercial vehicle will have a mileage of 5. So the running cost compared to now is 100 rupees per liter of diesel, which is 5. So per kilometer you are charging more than, like, it costs you more than 20 rupees. So what I am trying to do is I'll reduce that 20 rupees to 10 rupees or to 12 rupees. Yeah. Sorry, sir. This is my first pitching. No, no, no. This is my first pitching. I don't know how to present. I uh, your feedback helps me a lot. But no, sir. Sure, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Sure. Yeah. So it costed me to almost 80K. Yeah. It's a scrap bike. It's my uncle's bike. It's a scrap bike. I just got it. Yeah. Yeah. It runs like a new bike. Actually, you can compare it with the Aether and or a Revolt, and you can run this. 130 km. Sorry, 140 kilometers per charge. 130 to 140 is depending on the driving condition. No, it's a complete hybrid. It's a complete electric vehicle. So it depends. It depends on the. No, no, no. Yeah, on a bulk. So one second. I'll just clarify you. That 1.5 is including the subsidy. Without a subsidy, Ola it costs you more than 2,22,000. With subsidy, they are providing it for 1,44,000. So subsidy also matters here, and the manufacturing cost will be reduced if you buy it in a bulk. Like, yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Yes. Yes, sir. You're right, sir. It depends, sir. Yes, sir. Sh- Sure, we'll try on that, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, he's noting out. Yes. Yes. It depends on the terms and conditions, sir. No, it depends on the conditions. Like, If the market size is bigger than the acquiring, we'll try to be normal, like independent. And it depends, like if they are like okay, we if the values are managing us, we'll accept that. So, yeah, thank you. Mhm. Accepted. So we are using a lighter battery pack, right? So that we can use a better battery management systems, because it is a lighter one. You can spread it over on the large area, and you can maintain the cooling, like the cooling scenario and the cooling system. So which will cause you less harm, probably. Sure. Thank you. Sorry.
Before closing, we'll have an open mic session to encourage innovative ideas from the audience. Anyone with ideas is welcome to share them. I would like to remind everyone in the audience to be respectful to those expressing their ideas. Let's help them feel more confident with feedback that is encouraging.
Okay, fine. You have. I just want to supplement one important aspect which Mr. Pingali had brought in about documentation. Documentation is a key to success. So I'll just now share with you a use case. So I worked with L&T for around 15 years in the construction the wing, and I was also close proximity with Mr. M. Naik team in Mumbai. So this was actually a project in Gazimoga in Kakinada. It's called onshore terminal project. So that is was a contract given to L&T on cost plus basis. Cost plus is nothing but like whatever you spend, you have to just raise 10% or 15% agreed contract value and just submit the bill. That's all. See what the bill is there. You got a bill of 10 rupees. Just no scale it up with your amount and just produce. That's all, and they'll pay you whatever on the RA bill. I think you guys will be knowing about an accounting bill and all that. So here, what happened in the start of the project? No, everything is brownfield. So you need to get water with tankers and all that. There's no boundary gate, nothing, all that. So that in Gadimoga is a very huge place. There. So people are no L&T is being the contractor. They started bringing the water in tankers. So now, how do they account that? So the client was telling, ठीक है लेके आ जाओ, you bring that. तो साहब बोल दिया तो ठीक है, that they bring. There's no document. He said, no, I'm telling. See, I'm from the Reliance. So when the authority speaks, the person has to comply. He said, okay, fine, I'm getting it. And he didn't even maintain a document also. So those waters are coming in, and everything. I was just noting with small papers, chit papers, like some signed or just that. That didn't actually help. Like after slowly, the foundations, everything, came up in place, and then the boundaries, then the security, everything is came come into place. Then started documentation. The security started issuing. in pass, out pass, and all that with all the record like. So then whichever material is coming out, coming in and going out, everything is a record. Now L&T started putting their bills like constantly, regularly. On one occasion, they put this whole water bill and all that. No supporting document. They straight away the client in Mumbai discarded that. No, we can't agree to this. Where is the backup? He said, no sir, aapka hisab bol diya, all that and all that. The person is already left that particular project and is gone. And also nobody will watch for that. The small piece of chip paper will not work. So this is very important, and the contract value was 300 crores, and it was almost a percent, 1% of the contract value was eaten away in this whole thing. Right? So tune of 3 crores was, L&T had to lose that. See, the profit margin is also not much, we'll have that 3 crores only for accounting of water and whatever other, ancillaries they bought. They could have done, small, I'll just tell, just from my experience, because I've been with these Japanese companies, they take the documentation very high scale. So at least if he is not, having any stationery, I myself, because I do have that, in my budget, like what he mentioned. I'll take a printout of Reliance Industry something and that way, and his name and all that, the stamp and everything, rubber pad and all is also easy. And I'll go, sir, ठीक है, आज कितना tank है, sir, ठीक है, just you sign. No, you put the stamp and you make that. You try to build that document. You're building the document, everything like on your own, because it may be headache. But later on, that will serve a purpose. So once that the gate pass and everything is established, you can put this and make it regularized. So these are things till now it has happened. You can put it into your lot and start that way. So in this manner, what happens? Your whole thing has been saved. Like, so you will get nobody can the legitimate billing has been done, and you can't nobody can deny that. But only maintaining those papers, they had to lose. Everybody is aware that whole project of the whatever construction has happened, without that water can't happen. But then there's no document. So document is not there, he's not going to pay. So very important. I just wanted to share that on the thing that document is really very important key to success. Thank you all. Yes, sir.
So, is there anyone who wants to present their idea? So, we're almost at the end of our session. We appreciate everyone's participation in today's meeting. Your inputs would be highly appreciated as we work to make this meeting better. We have a few announcements. Our next Startup Saturday's meeting will be on January 21st, same date, at the same time. If you haven't already, please remember to scan the QR code to confirm your attendance at our meeting today. It will assist us in reminding you of our upcoming activity. And lastly, if you're not a member of the Startup Saturdays WhatsApp group, get in touch with me or the volunteers to be added in the group. And before concluding the session, I wish you all a very happy Sankranti in advance. You've been awesome. Thank you so much.
The WhatsApp group link you'll be having the link in the website itself, the social page or something. Oh yeah, I think there's more and more. They want to join the WhatsApp group also. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, one thing is